curmudgeon.
He really is.
It's true.
Okay, this is strange. For whatever reason, I can't actually... Oh, here it is. Never mind. You heard nothing! Ignore me!
Custom overlay.
Oh, I've got to add Michael to the cast.
Oh,
Michael to the cast. Doo-dah, doo-dah.
These
What's up,
ones
Ryan?
with the question marks by the names. What are we? Do we just need to decide if we actually want to talk about that, or just like blaze
No,
through it?
that's me saying you're doing it whether you like it or not.
You're supposed to...
Okay.
Quick fire the hell out of that shit. Oh, yeah.
Like Ryan or
Yes.
David?
So
No,
I never got a crowbar today, David.
Sad.
What?
I didn't get
Yeah,
them either.
I didn't get
Crowbar got
I
lost.
did the review of the damn thing.
Hold on, let me go get the crowbar. I'll be right back.
Well, we had like awful storms here today, so I may get it later or tomorrow or something.
Boobs. I'm just testing my mic. But everybody says test 1, 2, 3, so I'm saying boobs.
Okay.
1, 2.
Memories.
So wait. At what point did we go live?
I don't know.
Are we live now?
We are live now, and
Oh.
I would like it if moving forward we always had some sort of notification that we were going to be live before things are said.
It would be
that
good
shouldn't
if there was like a
It
yellow
was-
button in the corner or something that said live. That would be
I
helpful.
know. That's how I realized we were live, and stopped talking about what I was talking about.
Did you admit that you hate Futurama Live? Because if you did, you're probably going to get hate mail or hate tweets.
Oh no, I
No,
don't. I don't hate
I just
Futurama.
started-
I just don't. I just don't have
started
time
less-
for.
like 2 minutes ago.
I don't hate it.
So,
It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
No, I don't think I've ever seen a full episode of Futurama, and I really don't give a fuck to. It's just not my stuff.
I weep
It's
for you.
just not.
I will
not
I will
my
say
thing.
this. I think that's the kind of show that I think if I actually made an effort to like it, I would, but I just don't feel like making an effort to.
Well, the thing is, it's like How I Met Your Mother. Everybody made such a big deal of it, and whatever. I just don't care about stuff like that. I just don't. I don't. First off, I don't like comedies. I don't ever find them funny ever.
I
mean,
detest
I may-
joy. I really
may-
cannot stand all of the human experience. I hate every bit of it.
It's just they're just not funny. I mean, I may crack a smile at certain things, but it's just like this is not worth my time. I don't find it that amusing.
Mm.
So that's how it goes for me most of the time.
On that happy note, let's start the show.
Okay, I got the crowbar.
Oh, there's David. Okay.
I know I'm going to do with it, but I have it.
You should beat
You
the
can
shit out of
friend
that
Do
box of
whatever
car
Gordon
stuff.
would do.
Gordon from Sesame Street?
Well, Gordon wouldn't say anything, which is going to make for a really dull podcast.
He wouldn't. He's a mute.
Gordon...
Gordon
Sumner?
Freeman, protagonist of Valve's Half-Life series.
I thought you were talking about Gordon Sumner.
Oh, there's a part of it that's gray under the... Oh, there's chips on it.
Pretty sure you and I are the only ones who know who go.
Pronounced
You mean-
Gordon.
You mean that Nvidia's green crowbar is not of sufficiently high quality?
It's fine, I guess.
Gordon
It is a 24-inch crowbar as
Gordon
opposed to a smaller crowbar, so there's that.
Well, you got to have that extra heft when you're smacking alien zombie things.
Yep,
Yeah, you have to make sure you hold it with like the curved end like out, all weird like, because that's how it is in the game.
exactly.
Wait,
Tap the
chat
things with
room.
the tip.
We're eventually going to have a show.
I mean, I could see how you could use it as a weapon. I couldn't see how it'd be very easy with one hand, because this thing has a lot of, there's a lot of momentum going there.
Well, you never know what you're capable of until there are alien monsters attacking you, and
Seems
you
like
have to
David's
beat
never
them to
used
death.
a tool, something heavier than a phone in his
All right,
hand.
we've got one more.
It's not true. I have
Story
several
to assign.
screwdrivers.
He's like, oh, there's weight to this. It's like, yeah,
It's got good build quality.
that's what hammers do as well. They have weights on the end. And
David
you swing
uses-
them around and smash
David
things.
uses an HTC One as a hammer.
Sally, the camel, has 3 humps. Everybody's quiet all of a sudden.
Yes.
They're contemplating the number of humps that Sally has.
It's weird though
Okay,
because
let
I've
me,
seen.
social it real quick here. And
I say halfway
we're
through the
good to
show,
go.
David breaks out his Boxo car stuff.
Boxo car stuff?
Yes. And
That
shows
is
us
what it
what's-
says on. It says car stuff. There's car stuff in there.
What's in? That could be a chat room game. Too bad we
We
don't
can
have anything
see
to
it.
give away.
We can read it. Car stuff.
What's in David's Boxo car stuff?
You can't have any of my car stuff.
No. It's only legal in Washington and Colorado.
Michael's lower third is backwards.
That was mine. I had to manually flip it around.
Oh no, you don't need to flip it around. It's
No,
supposed
it'll look
to be here
backwards
on
to
your
you.
end.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Hang on.
Because
I'm
Google.
such a noob.
Let me flip it back around.
Leave it backwards. I like it.
They want to
Yeah.
give you the feeling as if you're inside the television looking
No,
out.
it's a mirror thing. It's your people are used to looking at themselves in mirrors.
How's that?
Yes, but I'm not used to reading.
That is the same.
Yeah, it's still backwards.
Dang it! It's because it's cached, I believe. Well, hang on. I'll just change the file name.
Changing the file name.
Yeah, I'm actually going to keep this crowbar in the trunk of my car. It fits nicely in there. So I can go all co-founder of Pinkberry on some crazy homeless person.
Wait, what?
Obscure news joke.
I know nothing about this story, but I think I've already constructed the entire thing in my head.
Yeah, the
just from that
co-founder of
sentence.
Pinkberry beat a homeless guy with a crowbar.
Nice. Yeah, that's
That
exactly what
happened.
I, yeah. It's exactly
Beating out the
the image
Invisible
in my
Children
head.
guy for the worst public relations decision ever.
Yeah, he went to jail, so it was okay, I guess.
It's okay that there was a beating because they went to jail.
All right, this is my lower third.
All right, so
Yes.
just so we're clear, you guys are set for those two quick hits, Ryan and David.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
fine.
So you have been indentured servitude into taking.
Yeah, you have to send me like $5 in the mail, but yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do that, so deal with it.
I don't have the $5.
Also, you are familiar with the fact that those are quick hits, which means quick, which also means I'm not going to give you a lead-in, just talk. When it's
So what you're saying is I need to hit the screen with the crowbar.
quickly.
I think that's definitely what you should do.
Okay.
Or if you just like hit your webcam, maybe that would be better for the listeners /
It
watchers.
would actually, you're
It would
right.
make them feel like they're part of it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to start the show.
Let's do that.
Bye.
I'm going to
Wait,
check.
can
One
we
quick thing. Somebody grill me on the introduction thing real quick. Just go in the order
You're
we've
gonna
got
go
Go
it.
in
with
the
Ryan.
order that it's listed at the top.
Great. Okay.
Android Police Podcast, episode 110 will start in just a few moments.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, May 8th, 2014. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Rudnick.
I'm Cameron Summerson. And
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I'm Michael Kreider.
And I'm the guy pressing the buttons. My name is Bob Severance. Welcome to the May 8th show.
8th show, yes. Well, I couldn't finish the sound. It
I could
just
be like
wasn't stopping.
Sylvester. Remember Sylvester? The 8th show!
May the 8th.
to me, it was just we were just ready for Friday the 13th.
I thought it was cool because you actually said May 8th with one syllable. You're like, welcome to the Mayth show.
Well, I was inspired by
Mate
HTC.
show.
It's
I like
the
it.
Mate show. It's HTC One Day.
It is?
If May 4th is Star Wars Day, then today is no, actually.
I wish it were a Sunday.
Don't give HTC ideas.
like HTC.
No, that's a good idea.
Their marketing is bad enough already.
It's just another HTC one day.
All right, well let's start things off with the rumor roundup. All All right, so rumors this week coming courtesy of leaked images as usual, and this week we're going to start off with the leaked images of the HTC One Mini 2, or the M8 Mini, if you please. We have some photos that became widely available this week, and there's some interesting developments, at least as far as one of the feature components of the flagship M8. So, Michael, what's going on with the M8 Mini?
Well, this is a phone that we were absolutely expecting because, of course, the original HTC One had a One Mini counterpart, a smaller phone, weaker phone in many respects. But here we have it again. It comes from EV Leaks, who is just always on top of things as far as leaked phones go. And the interesting thing about this phone, of course, it looks very similar to the One M8 that we're very used to, but it doesn't have that duo camera on the back. It's just got your standard single camera layout, which it's interesting. It's not all that surprising because this is a more down-market version of the phone. Other than that, it looks like it's got the same kind of metal unibody that HTC's been using for the last year. The specs are a bit downgraded. Looks like it's going to have a 4.5-inch screen with a 720p resolution, Snapdragon S4 processor, some very basic stuff. Again, with that camera, it isn't duo, and it does not have the ultra-pixel layout, the 4 ultra-pixel thing that HTC's been pushing to middling results. And this is all rumored,
it might actually be good. Oh, sorry.
Well, it might be. The rumors say it's going to be 13 megapixels. Again, none of this is confirmed. 1 gigabyte of RAM, 16 gigabyte of storage, micro SD card. Pretty standard mid-range device. Although I do find it funny that Mini now equals 4.5 inches, which is just kind of huge. So.
Wouldn't it be funny if when that phone came out, it took like substantially better pictures than the M8?
That would be funny in a sad way, yes.
Speaking of the M8, we also had some images leak out this week from EV Leaks regarding a new color variation of that M8, because they apparently have not covered all of them yet. And this one, of course, being the pink M8, which we can expect to be hitting store shelves at some point, at some time, from some carriers in some countries. So you can look forward to that. Also, let's talk a little bit about the new images we saw leak out of the, at least what we assume is going to be the LG G3. So some images came out this week, and it looks like we might be seeing an extension of what I consider to be a relatively awful trend. So Cam, what's going on with the LG G3?
Gold.
Gold.
That's it. That's it. It leaked in gold, and it is. Oh my God! It is so hideous.
That's the correct word. That's exactly what I thought when I looked at it.
It is
come on,
so.
it's not that bad.
I mean, it's not like you know, like iPhone 5S gold where only parts of it are gold. I mean, the entire thing that is not screen or camera is gold. Like even the buttons are gold.
I think it looks better than any of the gold HTC phones.
It looks like that promotional, like solid gold M7 that HTC made like 5 of. It looks like that, but it's real. It's a thing they're going to try to sell you in a store. But I guess upshot, it looks like it's probably made of metal. So that's I guess nice for people that are obsessed with having a metal phone.
I don't know if it's metal or not. It's hard to tell from the photo.
If it is actually plastic that looks like brushed metal, then LG has gone very, very, very wrong.
Oh my God! A plastic phone. In a plastic gold phone that looks like brushed metal. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, but isn't the back supposed to be removable? I mean, I thought that was going to be a thing.
Well, I mean, you could do that with like a latch because the Chinese version of the HTC One M7 had a removable back because it had the dual SIM thing. It was just like a little switch and you would pop the back off. But, yeah, I mean, if this is actually just plastic that looks like metal and is all gold, then they will have officially out Samsung.
Yeah, well, I think if they have it plastic that looks like fake metal, that is a removable back and is gold, the only thing that could really, really top Samsung is if it also has fake stitching. Because everybody knows fake stitching belongs on faux metal.
God. Gold and fake stitching would make it just look like one of those tacky Lycra hot pants, just painted gold. You know?
All right, let's move on to Android at Arms. All right, so the jury in the Samsung versus Apple case, and yes, that case is still going on, or at least it was still going on. I don't know if it's still going on now, but it just won't ever go away. So I'm hoping that this is the last headline we ever hear about this case. But they've awarded penalties, and it's a healthy penny. Although I don't think Samsung's going to have any trouble with it. What do you think, David?
I'd say it is a healthy penny. This penny is not ill. Penny appears to be in good standing. But so this is the second case, Apple versus Samsung. This one's more about software. The first case is more about hardware and design. This one's about software functions. Samsung was deemed to violate Apple's slide to unlock patent, the contextual search patent, where if you tap a phone number on a web page, it opens phone number in the dialer. Notice how Samsung phones don't do that anymore. The other one was, I forget. Anyways, Apple won $120 million in damages, which for Samsung, who made several billions of dollars per quarter in profit last year, is not that much money at all. But Samsung got Apple on one patent. I forget what it was for, but they got them to the tune of $150,000, which is basically the same as not winning as far as a trial of this size is concerned. Granted, Apple asked for $2 billion and didn't quite get that either. Both parties are definitely going to appeal, of course, this ruling, and so no, it won't be the last time we'll hear about this. There will undoubtedly be a appeal-level decision on this, and we'll see what happens after that. If the appeal upholds the basic ruling of the lower court, which it may, then that'll probably be mostly that. There might be a few issues. There almost always are in technical trials to go back to remand, maybe for damages calculations, maybe for small adjustments. But it's not extraordinarily common for cases like this to get totally turned on their heads at the appellate level. So for now, it seems like Apple and Samsung, their slap fight is winding down a bit. That is until Apple finds something new to sue about, which at this point doesn't seem like either party is particularly interested in settling, so they may well yet.
All right, then. So not the only Android-related case we saw news about this week. There was also a class action lawsuit filed against Google because of, well, Michael, why was this filed against Google?
All right, try and follow along with me here. So you have this guy, this attorney, Mr. Steve Berman of Higgins Berman, and he specializes in class action lawsuits, as does his law firm. Now, what he is alleging is that because Google has a commanding lead in the internet search market, and because they require certain things when you put Android on a phone and include the Google Play Store and other Google apps, one, the search quality of the internet is diminished, and two, phones are too expensive. Now, the first one, you could absolutely make an argument for. You could say the fact that Google has basically a de facto monopoly in internet search is a problem, and they shouldn't have that much power. All right, fine, argue that, great. The idea that Google exerting its power, which it certainly does, to somehow make phones more expensive is where this guy completely loses me. For one thing, Android has the greatest variance of device prices on the market, and it's not like you have to buy Android if you absolutely want to. I have no idea where this guy is coming from. His class action lawsuit includes two people, one who bought an HTC Evo 3D, and what's the other one? The other one bought a Galaxy S3, and they think they paid too much.
To be fair, if I bought an Evo 3D, I too would want to sue somebody.
Yeah, you just want to sue anybody you can. I guess HTC would probably be a better target, though.
Probably.
It's a class action lawsuit. This phone is stupid.
Maybe the 3D threw them off.
Yeah, I mean, I spent about 1,000 words taking this guy apart with my limited legal knowledge. But the basic gist that they're trying to present is that Google has a monopoly on search, and somehow that equals expensive phones. I have no idea where he's going from.
My extensive legal analysis on this would be this guy's kind of a jackass. So that's about where I stand on this. The thing about class action firms, a lot of times, in order to generate business, you can make a high-profile lawsuit happen and send out press releases. And even if you know going in that there's no way we're going to win this, even if on the basic premise of the case, you're never going to be able to get the evidence you need to prove what you're going to say. As long as you can get that case to the point where the opposing party can't win on a basically a motion to dismiss because the lawsuit is frivolous, which can result in basically fines, penalties against the party who sues, which it's very, very hard to do that. Then you can still basically justify the cost of a suit and say the PR is worth it, which is almost definitely what's happening here.
Yeah, and this guy's, I've looked at his history. He's been doing it for about 15 years with these big, media-grabbing class action lawsuits, and maybe that's what he's doing here. It's hard to imagine that he's doing it out of just a general concern for the public. And it's our job to be rah-rah Android fanboys, and it's also our job to be critical when the situation merits it. I don't see any possible way that this guy's case has any real merit in the real world.
I can tell you this: if he is just doing this for publicity, then he is a bear, and we are feeding him.
We are.
Entirely possible.
We actually were.
Yes.
Very true.
So let's stop doing that. Let's move on to Code Google. All right, so we got some information this week from Google Plus that indicates that Google and Chrome team are putting together a complete overhaul and revamping to the bookmark and favoriting structure of web browsers everywhere. Well, at least their web browsers, and at least as everywhere as devices that run them are. So we have a name for it. It's called Google Stars. And David, how does this vary from typical bookmarking I would expect to see in my IE10?
Well, Google, basically, if you've done bookmarks, if you went back to like 1998 and opened up your Netscape browser and created a bookmark and then put it in a folder, it's basically the same today. There really much has not changed in that realm. So Google is going to basically say, okay, let's fix that and let's kind of make bookmarking a rich experience. Now, some people are saying they're not going far enough with this. It's not enough like, Instapaper or Read It Later or other services like that. But to be fair, a lot of people still don't use those services. And a lot of people don't want something that involved. They just want to be able to save a page and then, go back to it later. But what Google Stars aims to do is to make that experience more complete and a little bit smarter. So when you bookmark a page, not only is it just going to save the URL and the header, it'll save an image for the page, and it'll also save the subheader, and it will be able to search the text of the page you've bookmarked. If the link goes dead or the page becomes malware at any point, Google will automatically put that into a basically non-active folder in your bookmarks. So it doesn't, clog up your folders, doing things that shouldn't be there. So it's basically going to be a smarter kind of way to keep your bookmarks, make them more searchable. It's basically a lot like the existing bookmarks, but with a lot more search functionality, visual enhancements, and then the ability also to share your folders of bookmarks publicly. So just think of like Google Drive sharing a URL to a public Google Drive document. You can send somebody a URL to your folder of bookmarks. So if you're doing a research project with somebody, you can send them your folder of websites that you've bookmarked for this project, which is actually, that's pretty useful. Granted, there are social bookmarking services out there that probably have richer functionality than what Google's going to release with Stars, at least initially. And then there's also the fact that there's some overlap with the service with things, other Google products like Google Keep. It actually looks kind of like Google Keep too. So I can definitely see Google Stars. It makes sense to me because as somebody who just hates bookmarks, because they are just a really dumb, annoying experience, and they don't do anything special, and they're just, it's a pain unless you're really on top of organizing your bookmarks. I would love something that made bookmarking a little bit smarter and a little less work for me. The other big thing you're going to do is they're going to create automatic filters. So based on the type of content you star, like a video or an image or a web page or a book or a file, you can sort based on that, and it'll tell you, oh, you bookmarked a video, oh, you bookmarked an image, or you bookmarked a file or whatever, which is definitely pretty neat too. So we'll probably see that at some point. It's not clear when Google's going to roll this out, but they are working on it, and it's going to be a thing here eventually. And as somebody said, it does have folders, but I feel like it's going to have tags too, kind of. You can enter your own descriptions for your bookmarks. So you could theoretically use that to do tags, I would guess.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Google Maps. The mobile app for Maps got a pretty big update up to version 8.0. And it's got some pretty big features to go with that big version number bump. So, Ryan, what's new in Google Maps?
Maps 7.0 was upsetting to a lot of people because it removed some things. But 8.0 adds a little bit of it back and also adds some new stuff. So we have better control of offline maps now. It's tied into your profile, so you have to be logged in. But you can pick an area, give it a name, you can readjust the view, and then save it for up to 30 days. And then it's all in a list where you can go through and clear them if you want. And then the other big improvement is lane guidance in navigation. So it'll tell you what lane you need to be in if you need to get a particular exit. So I'm sure there's still a lot of people not happy with the features of this one, but I mean it does still look a lot better than the V6 generation of maps did. Alrighty. Well, there's a new update this week also to the Google Camera app. It was upgraded to 2.1.042. This update includes a headline feature, which is the ability to take photos while recording a video. You may recall that your Nexus devices already had the ability to do that prior to their being replaced by the new camera app from the Play Store, but that feature has been brought back. It seems there's also a little bit more stability brought to these shutter buttons. So if you're taking photos and you're changing the orientation of your phone, you don't have to chase that shutter button around. So that should be a welcome change for all. And there is also a new version of Google Docs. It removes the native editing features for Sheets and Docs. I'm sorry, new Drive app, and so now you have to download the individual Docs and Sheets apps to restore that functionality. Right, Google Play Service has a new update this week as well, and it's got a few new tricks up its sleeve too. The new features here involve a new API for maps that allow developers to surface street views from within their native apps. There's also a new activity recognition for running, so your device will now know the difference between walking or running. That is, of course, assuming you're faster when you run. Finally, there's also a feature that's been added that makes buying things from mobile ads a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined, and I'm not really sure, honestly, if that's a good thing or a bad thing, so you can just kind of decide for yourself.
Google Wallet also received an update this week. It's pretty minor. It adds new shipping notifications for purchases made with Wallet. It removes the Explorer Offers interface. Now you just theoretically have to do that through Google Maps, whether on the desk or in the mobile app. And there's some minor reorganization of the UI to make things a little more exposed, like a dedicated screen for your accounts and credit cards, and the settings menu is a little updated, so you can get that now as well. All right, and finally, we've gotten some hot and fresh platform distribution numbers this week. KitKat is making strides with a healthy bump from 3.2% up to 5.3%. And Gingerbread might finally be starting its death throes as it dropped down to 16.2%. Jelly Bean as a whole stayed pretty steady around 60.8% for all of its various inclinations. No, that's not the right word. All of its available iterations combined 60.8, so down actually 0.6%. Let's move on to the hot sheet. So Huawei has a new headline device this week. It's the Ascend P7. It's been announced. It's here. We will probably not see it here in the States, but David, why don't you tell us a little bit about it anyways? Okay, so the Huawei Ascend P8 is Huawei's latest thing that looks kind of mostly very much like an iPhone. An iPhone 4, if we're going to get technical with it. The front and back are both glass, and the sides are aluminum, like flat bands. It's really, I don't know. It kind of makes you realize maybe why they don't maybe sell it in America, just a little bit. It really, really, really does look like an iPhone. So there's that. The new phone, though, is pretty competitive in terms of specifications. It has a 5-inch 1080p display and LCD. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM. It has 16 gigabytes of storage, which is but it does have a micro SD slot. It has dual SIM slots. It has a 1.8 gigahertz quad-core processor made by Huawei, which is their high silicon line. So that's kind of a toss-up. Huawei's processors have typically lagged a bit behind everybody else's, so it's hard to say how they're going to perform there versus Qualcomm or Nvidia. Otherwise, the phone is, pretty standard high-end fare. It runs Android 4.4. Granted, that's with Huawei's Emotion UI, which, take it or leave it, I guess. It's a pretty heavy skin on Android. And like we said, this device probably will never see the light of day in America. It will be on sale in Europe for, I believe, €450, which is a pretty competitive price. A lot of these Chinese OEMs now seem to be more and more competing on price. You've got OnePlus out there, and you've got other manufacturers like Xiaomi, and I think even ZTE are starting to pretty aggressively fight each other on price outside of China. They've always been very aggressive in China, but I think it's starting to come outside China now too. This phone will be available very soon, sometime this month, and the number of launch countries I think is around 24, many in Europe and Asia.
All right, so the next phone announcement we had this week, probably even as lack of excitement, even with the lack of excitement around the SNP7, probably even a little less exciting, but it's water resistant, so that's a thing. So a new Virgin Mobile and Sprint option in the water resistant ultra durable handset market just announced this week from Kyocera, right, Michael?
That's right. This is the Kyocera Hydro Vibe, and the most exciting thing about this phone is that it sounds like a vibrator. It is not, in fact, a vibrator. It's a phone. We checked. So this is coming to
have a vibrator, though.
Yep. It has one inside. You can work with it. Come on, folks. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So this phone is coming to Sprint and its subsidiary Virgin Mobile later this month. Sprint is getting it tomorrow, May 9th. Virgin Mobile gets it on the 27th. For some reason, Sprint people are going to be paying more for it, we think. Right now, they're only talking about the monthly rate on it. It'll be $10 a month for 2 years. Comes out to a little less than $250. If you go with a Virgin Mobile version, you get $150. So, interesting pricing structure. We'll see if you can get a little discount on it, but we won't know until it actually goes on sale. The specs are decidedly mid-range. Android 4.3, a 4.5-inch 960 by 540 screen, which is not that great. 8-megapixel rear camera, 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, 2,000 milliamp battery. Very uninspiring specs. It is water resistant, IP57 rating, which basically means you can drop it in the pool and get it out and it'll be fine, but you probably shouldn't actually wear it while you're swimming in the pool. Got some minor dust resistance. A very typical, very kind of the stuff we expect from Kyocera. Just not exciting overall. You might sell a few to people who want to get that nice, durable, resistant phone. That's about it.
You can also pee on it.
Kyocera should make like a ceramic phone. Oh wait, they did. They did a ceramic earpiece phone, the phone vibration thing.
Okay, wait. They could make a phone that they actually marketed the you can pee on it thing, and they can call it the Kyocera Piocera.
Right.
Right.
I think you're into something there.
Kyocera,
You're
pay this
into
man.
something.
Whenever I hear about waterproof phones, that's the first thing I think of every
Can I pee
time.
on it?
I just continuously mentally go back to that first Sony phone where the dude shot the video where he peed on it, and I thought that's totally a thing. Like I always go back to that. So now every waterproof device, I just think you could pee on that.
Yeah, somebody's got to one-up him and poop on a phone.
There was another interesting story this week as far as the durable phone stuff goes. Caterpillar, the bulldozer people, actually showed a video of them crushing 600 of their B15 phones with a 4-ton front-end loader, and that was really cool. Much cooler than this announcement. So go check that out if you want a fun video.
I would have been much more impressed with that if had they not only destroyed the phone but also didn't trigger the long press. Because that totally triggered the long.
They also pooped on it, but the long press thing is good.
That's in the director's cut of the video.
Yes,
So, but can you
unfortunately, it
pee
was
on
only
them?
cat poop.
No,
Like,
you can't.
I
You can't
realize
pee
you
on
can.
it, but it can literally pass through your entire digestive system and be fine on the other end. So
You
don't know,
won't be
can
fine
it-
on the other end, but it will.
Yeah, for real.
All right, so in a little bit of off-the-wall and bizarre news, we did have a new TV spot roll out from AT&T this week regarding the Padphone X, which, of course, we know is a thing that exists, but we have no idea when it's coming or how much it's going to cost. But at least we have a commercial for it, David, and it's brilliant, right?
It is amazing. So in this wonderful spot, AT&T demonstrates with aplomb the abilities of the Padphone to get you the ladies by showing them pictures of dogs, your dog specifically, and ladies with dogs in parks.
But
You
nobody
try-
likes small pictures of dogs, David.
They don't. That's true. I've seen small pictures of dogs and I become angry immediately. So if you have a large picture of a dog, it's better for reasons. I don't know what those reasons are actually, but I'm going to trust AT&T on this one and say that if you want to have sex with a person who you find attractive, show them a picture of your dog on a Padphone X, but make sure you use the tablet part because if you don't, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So
pretty
is
much.
is bigger picture of dog better, or is there like a cutoff?
Well, it
You
depends
know,
on the dog.
that's a good question. I mean, I don't think you could go the full, like 21-inch HP touchscreen Android dog picture. I don't think that's quite convenient enough. You've got to have a dog display device that fits in your backpack, or preferably your messenger bag because those are sexier.
What if the dog fits in there? Is it better to just have the dog?
You know, I feel like you should keep the dog as plan B in case the picture of the dog doesn't work out.
Yeah, I agree. I love the commercial because the look on the chick's face, she's like, when he tries to show her his phone, she like has this look of disgust. And then he's like, oh, hold on a minute. And then he pulls out the tablet dog and slides it in, and she's like, oh, fuck yeah, man. Look at this dog. So can we
It's
go back
like,
to your
"Shut up."
place? I mean, like, seriously, it's like her whole mood changes. I don't know.
If the tablet doesn't work, you can always carry around your Half-Life crowbar, hit her over the head, and then take her back to your place and then show her the dog.
this commercial.
I seriously thought that was going in a very different direction.
This is a family show. There was no other way it could go. You're just showing her the dog. No, but you know what this video reminds me of? Do you guys remember that that ad that Samsung made for the Gear, the first one when it came out, where
How
like
could we forget?
the guy was skiing and he's like showing off with his with his little camera on the watch, and all the women were just all over that. It's the same thing. This is how they're trying to sell us electronics now.
I think the Gear was a little bit more impressive because he actually won the girl with competition with the Gear. So there was no competition with the.
I think there was. This dude won the girl by showing her that his dog was better than her dog. She was like, shit, this guy's got a better dog than me. Let me get with that.
I mean, we know this ad is endorsed by Johnny Shee, pickup artist. So I mean, it's got to work.
But it was such a typical ASUS commercial too.
It really
was
was.
like corny music. You could see the people talking to each other, but there was no like dialogue in the commercial at all. So, yeah.
It'd be funny. It'd be funny if they were just like saying blah 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 to each other. It's probably a lot better if you just imagine that while you're watching the ad.
Yeah, seriously, like, oh, here's a picture of my dog on my phone. Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get out my tablet and show you on that. Oh.
All right, so
And then they
let's
had
move
sex. That's what happened.
In the director's cut.
on.
In the director's cut.
You can't see that on YouTube. You have to go to Vimeo for that version.
Doggy style.
It's actually in Johnny Shee's private library.
Oh my.
All right, so if you are a Verizon customer but have a severe hatred for their bootload locking ways, there's a new option for you. Samsung has released the Galaxy S5 Developer Edition for Verizon. It can be purchased directly from Samsung for $600 money, and you can get it in any color you want as long as it's black, and who knows, it may even have the download booster software enabled. It might.
It won't.
We also have
But
a...
it won't.
what's that?
It won't.
You don't think?
No, because the software that they put on these developer editions is exactly the same as the one you get in retail versions. I've got the Droid Max developer edition. I'm assuming it's the same. And if that's the case, no, you don't get the download booster. But you can root it and put it in your own software. So, yay.
Yeah. All right, so if you are an LG G Flex user on T-Mobile, you'll be happy to know that there's a shiny new Android update waiting for you. The Uncarrier started rolling out KitKat on Monday, although at this point in time it's a little unclear whether it's going to be 4.4, not just LG G Flexes last week, or if it's going to be 4.4.3, which T-Mobile's website claims it will be. So a little bit up in the air about that one. So
they changed it to 4.4.2.
It's updated now. Okay, no more confusion. Good deal. Let's move on to product reviews.
It's time for product reviews. This week, hands-on first impressions of the OnePlus One with CyanogenMod with Mr. Michael Kreider.
All right, so we did get one version of the OnePlus One. It is right here. Very interesting phone. And let me tell you guys a little something, just some inside baseball stuff. I really, really wanted to hate this phone because I kind of hate OnePlus at this point. Their marketing and their approach to their marketing and their just kind of community. They've done a lot of stuff in the background that we at Android Police do not appreciate because it makes our jobs harder and it makes us really not like the things that they do. But saying all that and saying that I was just completely prepared to hate this thing straight to hell, I have to admit it is a pretty awesome piece of hardware. So they have crammed high-end hardware into just about every part of this thing. Snapdragon 801 processor, one of the latest available. 3 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of storage that can be updated to 64 gigabytes of storage. 13 megapixel camera. It is an incredibly high-end phone. And on top of all of that, it's running CyanogenMod 11S, which is CyanogenMod 11 with an S, which is to say it's got a nice unlock screen.
That makes it better.
Things in there.
The S is for speed.
It is.
If there's one thing I've learned from Apple, it's that S makes everything better.
Oh yes, S does make it better. And there's the unlock screen. That's what's different between regular CyanogenMod 11 and CyanogenMod 11S. And
Is
that
that
is
really
the only
all that's
difference in
different?
the software here.
Really?
That's it. Sorry?
Really? That's it? That's all of it?
That's all that I can find. I've only had it for like 2 days. I'm in the middle of the review. The review is coming up next week. But as far as I can tell, that's the biggest difference. It is customized a little bit to this hardware. For example, the phone, and you can't see it here, but it does have hardware buttons in there, which you can turn off and just go with regular software buttons, which is an option in regular CyanogenMod. But they do it really well here because when you have the virtual navigation bar enabled, those hardware buttons disappear. It's an impressive little touch. And it's fast, it's stable, it does all the things right that CyanogenMod does right, which I am a fan of. It is a nice little phone. And on top of all of this, it would make a great phone even if it was, $5, $6, $650 that we expect from a regular high-end phone. On top of everything, they're going to sell it for $300. It is hard for me to find fault with this thing, as much as I would like to.
So I have a question about the hardware buttons thing. So if you enable the on-screen buttons, it turns the light off for the hardware buttons, but does it actually disable them, or are they still functional?
I'm trying. I've got the virtual navigation buttons here, and I'm trying the hardware buttons, and they do not work. So,
awesome.
And the thing just rebooted. It just crashed right here in the video. Great job, OnePlus. That is the only time it's happened. And it
So,
happens with
your
every
new
Android phone
OTA
eventually,
update?
so. Sorry?
Did you get the new OTA update? Wasn't there supposed to be one?
I have not gotten one yet.
Okay, so it's pre-release software, so you can't judge the stability just yet.
I mean, like I said, I would really love to pan this thing just as far as I possibly can, but it's amazingly solid hardware. It feels much more expensive than $300, and great software, of course, because it's coming from CyanogenMod. It's an excellent phone, from what I can tell so far.
Yeah,
So
I'd want to know about how the screen compares to what HTC and Samsung, well, mostly what Samsung has, and then I want to know how the camera is, because I feel like the camera probably isn't good, because Oppo's cameras never were.
we do think this is mostly Oppo hardware because even if it's not a complete subsidiary of Oppo, as some people have accused OnePlus of being, it's clear that there's a very close business relationship there. I haven't had time to check out the camera just yet. I will have that in full for the review, of course. The screen looks pretty solid to me. I am not a screenophile, but sitting next to a lot of the Nexus 5, it's every bit as bright, if not a little brighter. The 5.5 inches on this makes the 1080p work really well. I think 1080p is kind of overkill for anything below 5 inches, but at this size, it does work very well. The one thing that I don't like about it is that the hardware buttons are very, very slim. They are hard to hit with my big pudgy fingers. But again, because it's running CyanogenMod, it has some great, tips and tricks in there. If you can double tap it LG style to turn the thing on. It's got some great gestures when it's off, and you can turn on things like the torch.
That's the Oppo. Well, maybe Cyanogen came up with that. I know Oppo had it on some of their phones.
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's some great hardware.
So the hardware buttons on the front, if you turn those on, one of them is a menu button, right?
Oh yes, the hardware buttons are this kind of weird, wonky thing. I'll see if I can enable.
So what you're actually saying is the hardware buttons are the Antichrist.
No, I said they were wonky. I don't think you can make that leap.
So when the virtual navigation buttons are on, the hardware buttons, are they completely invisible, or can you kind of see them if you hold it at a certain angle?
If you hold it at a certain angle, if you are absolutely searching for them, hunting for them, if you will, you can see that they're there. But in any kind of actual way, no, they're invisible. You can't see them. It's some impressive stuff. And I've enabled the hardware buttons, and you probably can't see them here, but they are on, and they've got a little backlight going. But it's got standard home button in the middle, back button on the right, which is the opposite of where we're used to seeing it, and then a menu button on the left, which, again, that's kind of an Oppo thing. Samsung has done some similar stuff in the past. We're not fans of it because it deviates from the Android standard. But,
so is there any way, then, to get the multitasking interface up when you do that? Can you, long press something?
Again, in CyanogenMod, you can customize your hardware buttons. So, yes, you long press it to get that multitasking button. All right, let me see if I can...
Can you change it to just be a dedicated multitasking button instead of
Let
menu?
me see.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Buttons. All right, home button, menu button, short press action. Recent app switcher. Yes, you can change it to be the recent apps button.
Okay, that kind of changes my opinion about the hardware buttons on that phone. Because the thing that upsets me about the Galaxy S5 with the buttons is that the home button is physical, and I don't like the extra effort it takes to push a button. I know that sounds stupid, like first world problem, I have to push a button now, but it's so much easier to just tap at something that's capacitive than to exert force to mash a piece of plastic down.
I don't know. There's pluses and minuses. On some phones, I do like that physical.
Oh wait, they are literally buttons?
No, they're capacitive buttons.
Okay.
So, okay. Are they fully customizable? Because the back button being on the far right would drive me insane.
You get a degree of customization, but you've only got choices to pick from. You can't manually assign it. That's probably a root thing. This does come with an unlockable bootloader. You can do whatever you want with it. But in the stock unrooted form, you do have a few limitations.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the same time, though, I don't think I would want to change a thing that has a back symbol to something other than back.
Yeah, I know. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
You know what I'll say is that all the spec fanboys that are drooling over this thing right now, as soon as the G3 comes out, that's what they're going to go to. And Oppo, and I should say OnePlus is going to lose that market because it's speculated at this point G3 is going to have a Snapdragon 805, which is just they're going to circle jerk so much harder over a larger chipset number.
1440p screen, maybe.
Probably 3 GB of RAM too. Yeah, it'll have a 1440p screen. LG's basically set at this point. Yep, and it'll have virtual buttons, but it will have LG's fucked up virtual buttons, where one of them is a menu button, and
I hope they don't do that. Because seriously, if you look at a current gen LG device, they even give you all these options to change the on-screen button arrangement, and none of the options they give you are right. They're all hey, would you like our Notes app in your navigation bar? No, LG, shut up.
It's let me just get the standard Android layout, please.
They went to the effort of making it customizable.
I feel like
you know what?
Will add a multitasking button this time because Samsung did, and when I talked to Samsung, their official PR response is, we want it to be more in line with the Google or the Android ecosystem or something, which is very kind of ominous. Like, oh no, somebody got told. So I'm hoping LG follows suit. And also, I think LG's camera will be really good. Their camera on the G2 was really good. It could be good on the G3, or maybe they won't improve it. We'll see. But yeah, that 1440p display and maybe a Snapdragon 805 would be reasons enough for everybody to just ignore everything else for the time being.
I don't think I could bring myself to buy an LG phone regardless.
Oh,
of the
their software layer makes me want to kill kittens. It's just
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like the that last tablet. What the hell was it?
The G-Pad 8.3.
G-Pad 8.
The G-Pad, yeah, the G-Pad. Oh my God, I love the G-Pad, but the software just destroyed it, just killed it for me. I hate it.
To me, LG's UI layer is like the people who turn off all the animations and gradients in Windows because it runs faster. And it's like, well, you don't care about the way things look at all. So, yeah. LG really should just go stock Android because their software layer has no branding. There's no value in that brand.
Yeah. They don't even they dropped that Optimus branding
the
on
Optimus
phone, so
UI.
we don't
Yeah,
even know
the
what
Optimus
we don't
is
even know what to
whatever.
call their UI layer. At least Samsung has a name.
Oh, I always call it. I can't believe it's not TouchWiz.
Yeah, it used to be
true.
really, really obviously a ripoff of TouchWiz.
Now it's just a really, really ugly ripoff of TouchWiz. Because it really does. It looks so bad. I'm hoping they really change it up with the G3. If they're going to keep it, they need to make it look modern. Because right now it does just look like ass.
What if they actually figured out what they were doing and said, hey, maybe we should do what Motorola did because everybody loves their software. And actually add features.
I totally see if Android Silver's thing. I totally see LG getting on board with that
especially because they've done the last few Nexuses.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, Motorola is a critical success, but their sales are still nowhere near what LG is doing. And even though LG wants more, they've got no negative reinforcement to change what they're doing.
I guess. I mean, I feel like LG's reinforcement is sales, and that their mobile division is still not quite profitable. So if they feel like something's going to get more people to buy, they'll go for it. Especially since I don't think anybody's buying an LG phone based on the way the software looks. If they could get more people to buy based on that, then that certainly would help. And I doubt they would lose any customers to that fact either.
Yeah, but when LG wants to sell more, they do what they've been doing for the last 3 years. Bigger screen, higher resolution screen, bigger camera, and that's it.
Yeah, they can only go so far. Although I agree, LG has even said basically that, we don't want to be the big, crazy software feature guys. We want to be about, good hardware and good design and value proposition.
And we don't give a crap
then
about software.
maybe they should get on that.
All right, so one last little bit about the OnePlus One. There's been some updates to the shipping estimates. Originally, we were going to expect to see the 16 gigabyte version mid-May, I believe it was, and that the previous goal for the 64 gigabyte version was June. They've apparently experienced high demand for the 64 gig because 64 gigs for an extra $50 is a no-brainer. So they're pushing that one up a little bit to hopefully the end of this month. So we should be seeing that option available a little bit sooner. So full-on release a little later, but the higher GB version sooner, that's a good thing. I think we can all agree. I feel like we haven't heard that sounder in a really long time. It's been a while.
Okay.
All right, so we had some news this week regarding some Valve products and their relationship with Nvidia. This week, Ryan, you got a chance to play around with the port of Portal over to the Nvidia Shield, and you were pretty pleased with the results of that, right?
Yes, it is. It is the same awesome game on the Shield, and it plays very well. If you have a Shield, you should probably spend $10 to buy it when it comes out on Monday, because Portal is still just awesome. I mean, if you haven't played it, it's a great opportunity to experience a really awesome 3 to 4 hour game. I mean, I wish it were longer, but all of the jokes are still funny. The gameplay is still really, really cool, and I mean, Nvidia did a good job of making it play very smoothly on the Shield. I mean, if you look at some of the screenshots in the review blown up a little bit, you can see that there's a bit of aliasing on the edges. But I mean, on the device, I mean, it's a 5-inch screen at 720p, so you can't really see any of that. So they were very, very smart to maybe back off on some of that to still to preserve the look of the game and still make it fluid. So and one thing I speculated on in the review is, if they had to make a few compromises to get that running well on the Shield, what's that going to mean for other Source Engine games? And in fact, right after we posted the review yesterday of Portal that is cool. They just announced today that they're going to have Half-Life 2 on the Shield, which is based on the same version of the Source Engine. And unlike Portal, that takes place mostly outdoors in big, expansive areas. So, I mean, the draw distance in a game like that is a lot different than Portal, which is it's just you're in a series of rooms mostly. So I'll be interested to see how well that performs. And I mean, also it's probably going to be a very, very big game. I mean, Portal was over 3 gigs. And I mean, the Shield, by itself only has 16 gigs of storage. So I mean, I guess.
But Ryan, don't you remember? Half-Life 2 takes place in San Francisco, and it's foggy all the time, every day. Lots of fog.
They will probably maybe they'll just amp up the fog. But I mean, there are a lot of places in Portal there. I mean, or not in Portal, in Half-Life 2 that are just like really like big, complicated areas. Like,
yeah,
it's going to take a lot more processing power to make that work. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that performs, and maybe maybe you won't be able to have anything else installed on the Shield at the same time, or you'll have to get an SD card or something.
I really want to play Half-Life now. I'm gonna buy. Actually, I gave my brother my old Steam account, which had the Valve Complete Pack on it. I need to buy the Half-Life Complete Pack so I can play it again. But the other thing they could do is they could port the original Half-Life, which Valve ported to Source, which would not be a big game at all.
And is still very, very good as well.
Yeah, the original Half-Life, I would argue, is actually still, well, I don't know. Half-Life 2 was really, really good in its own way. But the original Half-Life, you kind of had to create the story a little bit yourself, which was kind of what made it fun.
I mean, yeah, there were a lot of things in the original Half-Life that you just sort of picked up on as you went. I mean, Half-Life 2 told a very clear narrative, but I don't know. If they can make Half-Life 2 work, I have to assume maybe Half-Life 1 will happen too.
Yeah, hopefully so. Be very cool. Also, I'm obligated to say, as a paid shill, that Nvidia sent me a crowbar announcing that Half-Life 2 will be coming to Shield. They also sent me a cake for Portal. So basically, I am a paid Nvidia shill at this point. They pay me in cake and crowbars, which is probably the worst perk package anyone has ever received.
I just want to point out I did not get a cake, so my review is entirely honest because I was not bribed with food.
Or crowbars.
Although if they want to bribe me with crowbars, I can guarantee them a good review of whatever else they have.
Android Police will work for crowbars.
Yeah, Artem's going to pay me in crowbars next month.
It's a lot of crowbars because you can get a $10 crowbar on Amazon.
Yeah.
Wait. Artem pays you guys?
All right, so we got some
Canadian
dollars. This week.
Bitcoins. Dog coins.
Oh God.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, coins. Yeah.
All right, guys, so we got some voicemails this week. Let's hit those up real quick.
Okay. Here it comes. The voicemail.
Hello, AP. It's your favorite towel rack calling back with this week's question. I'm touching on user interface. Samsung has TouchWiz, HTC has Sense, LG has their user interface. Even the Google Experience is classified as a user interface. I sometimes affectionately and other times very disturbedly refer to these user interfaces as sauce. To that end, I ask the Android police, what is your favorite sauce and why? Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta pull over and type a J. Pipe of the DJ, picking up more at R-22 batteries this week. Good night.
The
Well,
funny
that was
thing
interesting.
is he completely tailored that voicemail to what the transcription was last week, and they still didn't transcribe it right. You'd think.
So what's your favorite?
I'm just
what's
going to
your
go out on
favorite
a limb
sauce?
here. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that we're probably all going to go with Google Experience, but
I like the
I
Google
could be
sauce.
wrong.
I drink that sauce. I drink it down.
That's me
Yeah.
too. Like,
I would
there's
tend
no
to agree
comparison.
with you, although I do still use the original interface, the original Google interface for my Nexus 10 because I don't really care for the Google Experience Launcher on tablets just quite yet.
But it's still Google sauce.
It's still Google sauce. It's just not the Experience sauce.
It's Google Sauce Classic.
Google Sauce Classic.
Oh yeah, where are the lumps? Sorry. It's
I've got a
great
bit of a cop out
reference.
because ever since I started using the Droid Max that I've had for a little under a year now, I just love Motorola's additions to Android because they're minimal and they don't really affect the speed or the layout, but the stuff that they add is awesome. The voice
Motorola
activation
sauce,
stuff.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a tangy, spicy Google sauce.
It has seriously changed the way that I use my phone, so I love my Google Sauce Picante style with Motorola additions.
I do like the Motorola sauce. I will admit to that too. I mean, if I were to choose, like, if between Google and Motorola, as long as the Motorola updates still come out fast, I'd probably take the Motorola version.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, active display is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but I mean, Samsung's new version of TouchWiz on the Galaxy S5 is not terrible.
No, it's not at all.
It does many fewer things that infuriate me.
Yeah, especially after you go through and disable all the useless Samsung apps,
Yeah.
which I did.
I think we had another voicemail.
I forgot to
too.
read the transcription of that one, which was pretty good. Hey, lady, it's your favorite Colorado. I can call them back with this week's class. I want to let you know. End user interface. Samsung to talk to you later, okay. CC, it's St. Balaji. Hessler user interface. Even the Google Experience is classified as user interface. I sometimes affectionately, and I haven't talked very just a bit late because of user interface is ass sauce. To the end. Join me. What is sore? Favorite sauce? And why? Now I feel. Excuse me. I got up. I don't want him to the J. Bible to DJ. Please give up here, -22 batteries this week. Good night.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got up.
Excuse me. I got up. Now I feel. User interface, I agree. User interface is totally ass sauce.
Tell Rack, I just want you to know that you are also my favorite Colorado.
You are our favorite Colorado. We also had a
That sounds like a
Brian.
bad country song.
We
You are my
do
favorite
have a
Colorado.
voicemail from Brian as well, so let's hear that one.
Let's do it. Let's see if this will load. I've been trying to load it, but it's not loading is.
Hey guys, it's Brian. Sorry, but this week I don't have any hard G, soft G, high ginks. Well, maybe one. But I do have two questions for you guys this week. One, you guys did coverage on the Dimple. You did coverage on the Bluetooth drop cam monitors. You've talked about Bluetooth or NFC rings in the past. My question for you is, if you were given the opportunity, what dream device would you make? Phone, tablet, accessory, and what would it look like? What are its specs? Second question, if you could give a feeler out to anyone listening, whether it's an app developer, ROM developer, or maybe even an OEM representative, who would it be that you could invite to come on and do an interview on the show? Thanks. See you guys later.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Your dream device.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll go for dream device first. If I were to have a dream device, it would be some kind of either a dongle or a box or perhaps just technology integrated in devices that was a goddamn standard Wi-Fi music playback system, because none of them are. They're all proprietary or AirPlay. That's what exists right now. So there is no open standard for Wi-Fi audio playback right now. That really bugs me. It's basically a huge barrier to having multi-room audio systems, or to basically being able to stream audio with video to other devices. It's just a pain in the butt. I wish somebody would come up with an open standard for Wi-Fi audio that was not locked in and proprietary.
You know how they make those electrified dog collars? I want little shocking devices that I can embed into the skin of my children, and I want to shock them at will. That is what I want.
I assume this is some sort of, instructional tool, or do you just want to shock your children?
You mean with Bluetooth, right? They have to have Bluetooth.
It has to have the Bluetooths and the Wi-Fis. Bluetooth low energy, but high voltage.
Not so low energy, but it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Bluetooth LE, lightly excruciating.
I really don't want that at all. What I want as an accessory for an Android device is an audio interface that removes the latency. And I don't care how it hooks up. It just needs to allow me to be creative with
That's
my
exactly
Android
what
device.
I want. That is, yeah. That's exactly what I want.
But I unfortunately, I think they've got to work with hardware manufacturers and really hit it on the OS level, and it's not a big need in the for the general community. So
I'm sure Qualcomm's digital signal processor is perfectly capable of doing that, but it just Google doesn't seem to care that much.
Well,
about it.
I honestly think it's because they're so late to the game. People have been using iOS devices to make music for so long. There's really probably not much of a chance that anybody's going to want to port their shit to Android, because I mean, it's just they missed that boat already, and I think they realize it.
Yeah, most of the people that need to do that are willing to spend $500 on an iPad, so you don't even have like the price competition of Android devices.
That's exactly why I bought an iPad, and I exclusively use my iPad for like jam up and guitar related shit like that, and I don't know. That's because Android can't do it, so I had no choice. You left me without a choice, Google. You see what you did?
thanks for nothing, Dad.
So I'll throw my little entry into the arena. I would love to see something similar to a tilt view Qi charger that also has NFC pairing, Bluetooth audio out, and Miracast built into it.
Oh, that sounds awesome and expensive.
I know it does, but that's what I would like to see.
I want your pad. Your Qi pad.
My Qi pad. I do have a Qi pad.
Yeah, it would be nice if everything just had wireless charging built in, just in general. I'm
Like tables?
sad. Like I have several phones sitting in front of me, and they do not all have wireless charging. In fact, the majority do not, which seems ridiculous to me.
I'm totally going to get Samsung to send me a wireless charging cover for the S5.
Oh my god, I want one of those, and like you can't even buy them yet. Like they're still pre-ordered.
I'm totally going to ask for one. I wonder, are they going to do one without the stupid SV flappy majig on the front?
There's just a regular back that'll have the coils built in.
I'm going to ask for that. I'm going to review it. I'm going to review the shit out of that.
It's like, and it's stupid. It's like, it's $30. Why? Why is it $30?
Is it only $30? Okay, maybe I'll just buy it.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad. Like the case is like $70, but like it's like a tiny, flimsy piece of plastic with inductive coils.
Yeah, the SV1 is super expensive. They way overcharge for those. Fun fact: it was $50 for the original SV cover without wireless charging on the S4. It's a fucking piece of neoprene and plastic.
It's got magnets too.
The dot view case is $50 too. It's some rubber and some plastic. I don't understand where they get off.
Holes.
Rubber with holes. Okay, they're not even holes. They are actually they're not quite holes because they're translucent. They only let some light in, so there's a little bit of rubber left.
Weird.
Fun
Now, I think the second half of Brian's question was, who would you be willing to feel to get them to be interviewed on the show? I think that's what he said, right?
I've actually got one for this because I do the game roundups and the bonus round and all this. I just swim through Android games for this site, and the people that I would want to bring on the podcast, not because they have any particular insights or I think they're very intelligent or any of that other thing, just because they're entertaining. I would get the developers from Butterscotch Shenanigans. So in the unlikely event that you guys are listening, I love your videos. I love the way you promote your games. Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'd love to have you on the podcast. I don't know if I'm allowed to make that decision, but please reach out to us.
And he's certainly going to win them over with, not because I think they're particularly smart or anything.
I think they're all dumbass, but I'd love to get you to talk on camera, please.
I especially enjoyed that part.
They could. Well, no, that's a challenge. Like, get on the podcast, prove you're not a
That
dummy.
will win their affection right away.
Prove you don't suck.
If Matias Duarte would like to come on the podcast and prove he's not a dummy, he's allowed to do that too.
Okay, I would like to do the full Inside the Actors Studio with John Laguerre and Johnny Shee at the same time.
I don't think that there is a way they could both be contained within a single podcast.
I don't think there is.
I don't think I don't know
A
that they
singularity would appear.
You probably can't even put them in like proximity to each other like electronically because it would just explode. Thereuld just be too much happening for any
G
computer to
squared would actually
Anti-matter
solve
reaction.
the world energy crisis.
They would collapse into an object dense enough to fuse hydrogen, and they would actually turn the Earth into a small star.
That's about right.
Actually, I wanted to see Johnny Shee interviewing John Laguerre, or the other way around. Maybe they could both just ask each other questions. A sit-down, a fireside chat with John Laguerre.
Oh my god. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that.
Also,
I'm
the
not even
fireside
gonna-
should be an Asus Padphone X with just a fireplace video going.
And a dog.
Harry could bring his Batman
And a
costume.
dog, yeah.
And a dog.
gotta-
And the chair should be pink.
And after every question, a woman will walk by and they'll impress her with the dog on the tablet. That'll be like how you know the question is finished and they're moving on to the next topic.
And also, John Laguerre will unnecessarily insert unlimited and fuck into every one of his.
Yeah. And he's wearing a pink shirt. Pink shirt also.
That guy makes me really happy that I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's great. He's amazing. I love John Laguerre. I'm never switching to T-Mobile, but I love John Laguerre.
I feel the same way. I've never switched to T-Mobile either, but that dude is just, he's badass.
I am a T-Mobile customer, and I frankly I don't think that he makes me want to remain with T-Mobile any more than being on T-Mobile already.
I love him so much, I'm going to cancel T-Mobile and come back to T-Mobile.
I feel that I should not probably pick my wireless carrier based
So
on
let's
how fun
do
the studio is.
let's do the dramatic reading of Brian's voicemail.
I'm waiting for this.
The
So,
dramatic reading.
hey guys, it's
Oh, go
Brian. Sorry, but this week I don't have any hard. G sauce. G games. Well, maybe one, but I do have any questions for you guys this week. One, you guys did coverage on the double. You did coverage on the Bluetooth, dropped him on others. You talked about, which is an issue, rings in the past.
Yes.
My question for you, it is if you were given the opportunity, what during the Vice? Would you make phone tablet accessory and what it would look like? Whether it's specs so I can question if you could give a feeler out to anyone listening. Whether it's an AP developer ROM developer or maybe even and with me representative. There's just an M there. I don't know how to do that. I was confused. Anyways, continuing. 2, it'd be, but you didn't invite to come on and do an interview on the show. Thanks.
didn't.
If you guys later.
We didn't invite the come on, but I also think that if we could, then yes.
That's fact.
Yes, fact.
That was a good one.
We talked about G sauce.
Cheese sauce. It's
Yes.
like Cheese Whiz, but Google's version. Cheese Whiz.
It's like ass sauce from a G.
It's like ass sauce from a G-string.
Yes.
That should be the title of the podcast.
No.
What are you doing?
No.
I think that would probably increase our downloads. by at
I
least
think that
50,000.
actually, I think pooping on phones would be less offensive than add sauce from a G-string.
We've already said it. We might as well just own it. Just take it to the logical extreme.
I was thinking about using Asus does it doggy style, but no, that's not going to work.
I think that's probably okay too.
That's a pretty good one. I like that.
I'm so glad you guys brought me on this week. Glad that I can be associated with such a high-quality production.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about contests real quick. There aren't any right now, so that was it. But,
Well, that's real quick.
The AndroidPolice.com/contests has them all the time, so make sure you're checking it out on the daily. So, Bob, cue the outro, sir.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also join in the transcription fun at 530-HELLO-AP. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police, Google+, and Facebook.
I'm happy that we finally found a thing that will make people call us.
No, but seriously,
really.
call us. We're
All
so
we do is
lonely.
read
It
their-
makes
is
two
read
of them
funny
call us
translations.
anyway.
Yes. We could use some variety in the caller base. I mean, I'm just
We
saying.
could. You know,
Yeah,
Brian
not
and
that
Piper,
our
they're all
current
right.
callers
I
aren't
guess they're
good.
okay.
Not that our current
I,
callers
um,
aren't good. I just
I-
want to try other callers. I just want to play the field
You
a
just-
little
yeah,
bit
you
and
just
see
gotta
how it is
know-
with other callers.
You
Hey,
have
let's-
to know your wild calling outs.
Yes.
I
If
think-
you happen to be a lady or from a country that isn't America, we would welcome your call.
I think we should be polytelephonic. All right, just let's keep our options open.
Yeah. So next week, Freak for Dell, you are required to leave us a message. If you don't, you're not allowed to chat room
Ooh.
anymore.
The
He's
gauntlet
throwing
has
down the
been thrown
gauntlet.
down.
It's weird that we both thought of the word gauntlet, man.
Gauntlet.
You both gauntleted just now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a contest this week. If you can leave a message that gets properly transcribed, you will win.
What will you win?
Oh, that's
I
impossible.
don't know what the win, but the message has to be at least 10 seconds in length.
And it
But
can't
just
be
be
spoken
short.
by a TTS robot.
Yes. Do your best Walter Cronkite impression.
Try to speak like you're from, what is it, Nebraska? Has
That
the
is the one. That is the
with
American.
most non-regional diction.
Nice.
Doesn't that in and of itself make it a regional diction?
Well, no, because it has the least inflection and the least recognizable, diction of any American accent. It's what they teach people to speak on television.
You know, if you hear somebody from Nebraska talk, do you say, "Are you from California, Nevada, Arizona, Louisiana, New York, Jersey, Carolina?"
And they say, yes, how did you know?
That could be an
That
episode
could be an
title.
episode title, exactly. You could-
Yeah, good luck.
Although we're going to run out of characters.
We
We can't social that crap.
Well,
No, we cannot.
we'll just need to play that recording back to Google Voice and have it transcribe it for us.
Oh, that'd be
No, that's
amazing.
what I'm saying. What if we just like play the recording over and over again through Google Voice and like degrade the recording quality like with each repetition and then see what words we come up with at the end.
All right, I
It's
want
like
to
a
do
game of
that,
telephone.
but I want to do that, but the end goal should be to have Google Voice just say the word ducks like 80 times.
What would you do if like after like re-recording it 3 or 4 times, like it was just duck. It was just duck again and again and again. It was like we'd uncovered the meaning of life, the universe, and everything, and it was not 42. It was duck.
It was duck 42 times.
Yes. 42 ducks.
These are
What's
all
the
great
meaning
episode
of
titles.
42?
Bob, are you
That's
writing
the
this
amount
down?
of times.
42 ducks. Yeah.
That's how many ducks.
42. Oh, man. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Stephen Fry claims that he knows the real reason why the answer is 42, and he's not going to tell anyone.
That I feel like he's just messing with people.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Has to do with Jackie Robinson.
Mm.
I do love
respect
Stephen
that
Fry,
reference.
though, so I guess I'm going to trust him.
All right, I'm out.
All
Good
right.
night.
Yes, I will depart as well. I have things
All right.
to do that don't involve you people.
Gentlemen, people, I didn't acknowledge you, but thank you for coming. I appreciate the
Yes.
presence.
All right,
Thanks for joining
Mike.
us, Michael.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I probably should stop the broadcast now. Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what the hell the Cleveland Browns are doing.
I don't know.
That's what I just want to know. Just